Guys, what is going on? Tastymond here, a couple of weeks away from the release of Engage. Hope everybody's feeling relatively excited. I was just wanting to gauge some opinions on what yous are going to do for your first playthrough. Are yous going to be playing on normal mode, hard mode, or Maddening? What's it going to be? Apparently it's confirmed that Maddening is going to be a day one difficulty, and I wanted to see what people were thinking about that. Are you leaning more towards Maddening, or are you leaning more towards like hard, or even normal, I guess? Like, get used to the game, get used to the abilities in the game, get used to the mechanics in general before you tackle something like hard mode. I mean, playing these games on multiple difficulties only benefits you in a way, especially if it's a really good game. It'll last you years, as much as Three Houses lasted us. But what if we do Maddening day one? Is it going to be too hard? All I can really do is talk about my previous experience with the games. Three Houses being the first one. Launched with hard mode, right? Easy. Piss easy. Face roll. So when Maddening released in the September time, I think it was roughly the September time, I was excited as hell because I obviously love Three Houses. More excuses to play Three Houses is what I was after. And I took all that knowledge through my 10 playthroughs of hard mode, whatever the fuck it was, incorporated it into Maddening, and it got me through the Maddening, no problem. Honestly, don't think Maddening was terribly difficult, but only because I knew the stuff that would get me through it. Some of even the broken stuff hadn't been too found yet in Three Houses by that point. I don't think so anyway. I wasn't even dodge tanking in my first Maddening playthroughs at all. None at all. Like, really? Just using normal tanks, you know? Zero damage is the way to go. Trust me. But yeah, I knew exactly what was going to happen. Obviously we didn't know how the levels would be, the level differences and all that, but I got through it. All four routes, excuse me, for Maddening, and I felt very accomplished after it. After all was said and done, we went back and played a bunch of the old ones, you know, got more experience from the series. And that's one of the things I was wanting to talk about too, is when it came to the older games, I played them on the hardest modes for the first playthroughs, and only playthroughs that I've done. Conquest, Lunatic, New Mystery, Lunatic, Shadow Dragon, Hard 5. All these things added up, and were pretty hard for a first playthrough as someone like who'd never seen the games before. But ultimately, I think I had the most fun playing them like that. And I'm not being funny. And it's actually what changed my ways of playing a little bit from some of my more later runs of Three Houses as well, like no ox battles and stuff like that. I incorporated it from the knowledge I'd gained from the older games, like doing Conquest, Lunatic, first playthrough. Pretty hard, not knowing what the best abilities in the game were, not knowing anything like that, ultimately led us to having a very, like I would say, most as honest playthrough as I think you could ever have in the games, is basically what I thought it was. And we still got through them, and I enjoyed every minute of them. And that's what was making me think about playing Maddening day one for Fire Emblem Engage. Because at the end of the day, if we play hard mode, what if it's just as hard as Three Houses hard mode? What if it's just too easy to the point where we're not even thinking, we're not even using half the abilities that are in the game, you know? We can take all the knowledge that we've had for playing our previous games and incorporate it into Engage 2. But what if it could ruin some of the first playthrough? These are the questions that I'm wanting to ask people as well, especially people who have played Fire Emblem longer than me. I want to gauge your opinions as well. Do you think the game will be relatively easy on Maddening, judging from the amount of stuff that the game has shown us that we're going to have in our favour? Surely the maps can't be balanced around everything, especially if we're getting the ability to give our guys custom abilities again, essentially, and going into that class to grab that ability. And obviously we will only be able to know everything that's amazing in the game for our first playthrough. But I was thinking, if you use everything that's available to you in the game, ox battles, the arenas, the stuff that we've seen advertised, picking up fucking free elixirs off the ground, you name it, camels shitting out elixirs, whatever the hell it is, if you use all that to your advantage, I'm thinking that Maddening will not be a problem for people who take the strategy side just a little bit more serious. You know, like I think it could be okay. But here's also the other thing that I was thinking. The only reason part of me was thinking about playing Maddening as well is because I think that there might be another difficulty later on down the line. I think there might be a Maddening Plus, the equivalent of like a Lunatic Plus. Like New Mystery had it, Reverse Lunatic, Awakening had it with Lunatic Plus. Conquest didn't have it though. Didn't he need it, I don't think. Hard enough, enjoyable enough. What if Engage is enjoyable enough to the point it doesn't need another difficulty? But that I was thinking that there's probably going to be another difficulty in this game later down the line. I think that's also one of the reasons why it's launching with Maddening in the first place. I think we'll get a Maddening Plus, because they need something to shove in these 4 waves. Whether it's the last wave, or it'll be like the 3rd wave or something, there might be another difficulty hidden in there. And that's one of the only reasons I was thinking about picking up Maddening right away, is because I think there's maybe a good chance that it could be better tuned because it's not a DLC difficulty, and even then it'll feel like a pretty honest run, I guess. I mean, you could look at that either way. That's also another question I kind of want to ask you, is if you are doing Maddening Day 1, are you using all the stuff to your advantage? Like I was saying, picking up stuff off the ground, doing as many Ox battles as you can, doing, I don't know, the equivalent to like broken weapon grinding that was in Three Houses. Everyone's done it at some point. I don't do it anymore, but I did do it sometimes just to see what the hell was going on. And yeah, I mean, if you use all that bullshit to your advantage, the game can become easy, like pretty easy and straightforward. But there are unsavory methods there. There is some like honor that we have, right? But I think for if you're going to do Maddening Day 1, I think you should use everything to your advantage, get a good look at all the abilities, see what's good. Obviously, I don't think there's going to be something like a Hunting by Daybreak in this game that can literally fuck people over, because I think that was probably the only thing that really hurt blind players was the Hunting by Daybreak level, because they maybe hadn't trained some of the other units, you know, like it. I think that's really what hurt Three Houses there in that regard. And also, we do have Divine Pulse to use to our advantage, like what everybody's been talking about lately. We touched upon it in my last video a wee bit as well. If we use all this stuff to our advantage, I think it'll be relatively straightforward, even on Maddening. But I really just want to gauge some opinions. What are you doing? Are you doing Maddening Day 1? Are you doing Hard Day 1? What's it going to be? At the end of the day though, these games are pretty enjoyable playing on multiple difficulties every time you play them. And it's like a new game. And if this game's even half as good as Three Houses, we'll be playing it for years. And will we be doing ourselves, I don't know, doing ourselves wrong by like playing Maddening Day 1? Part of me's been thinking about stuff like this too. But I'm really excited just to play Maddening right away and not knowing all the optimal stuff, because I think that can lead to some pretty exciting playthroughs when you don't have everything being perfect. Do you know what I mean? And I'm guilty of that in Three Houses too. Like, you know, our guys are pretty good build and there's like relatively no chance we're going to lose. But we've played that game so many times. This is a new game. But if you are doing Maddening Day 1, what are you going to be doing? Are you going to be doing your Ox battles? You're going to be doing all your power logs? You're going to be trying to get as much XP on your dudes as possible? I was really hoping that it wouldn't come down to like as much micromanaging as Three Houses if you wanted to be as optimal as possible. But with the class abilities being back, that means we will have to master classes to some degree to get all those abilities. Anyway, dudes, let me know what yous are thinking. Maddening Day 1 or no? And give me your reasons why yous aren't doing it. Hope everybody's had a good new year. Onwards to Engage. Oh, by the way, I just want to say, we probably won't be doing a Let's Play for the first playthrough that's like coming out on the channel, but I will be putting up videos of the maps, Maddening equivalent, if we are doing Maddening, because I think we are, you know. Anyway, dudes, look forward to Engage.